Hi, James Pax, Lightning from Big Trouble in Little China. If you remember me from Big Trouble in Little China, the Lightning Sorcerer. I am on Zach's $2 late fee show. So make sure you catch it. There's a lot of special, tidbits in there that you want to find out about me with all the beautiful girls, Chinese actresses in China, and maybe something else that you want to find out about Big Trouble in Little China. Definitely catch you on the show.
I've got James Pax with me right here, Lightning from Big Trouble in Little China, but a whole lot more. So in this interview, you're going to hear it all. You're going to hear a lot of crazy stories. One involving shoes from Giorgio Armani that frankly blew my mind. So enjoy this interview. Once again, if you are watching this on YouTube or Spotify, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. You know the drill. If you want to support the show, go to patreon.com/$2 late fee. The links are in the show notes. And James's schedule, James's tour for Big Trouble in Little China coming very soon is in the show notes. I'm going to flash it on the screen as well. And we're going to have a good time. So without further ado, let's get to it. One more thing, really quick, everybody, before we get to James Pax's interview. If you're watching this on YouTube or Spotify, you're going to see some really cool images that I'm going to flash right now of some Big Trouble in Little China keychains that James has available right now on his website. Links to that website are in the show notes. There's a lot of other great stuff on there too, like t-shirts and posters, etc., and details about all his upcoming appearances. Those links are in the show notes. If you're listening to this, go to Spotify's video, go to YouTube's video, and check it out because they're really cool. And you'll see them and you're like, I kind of want to own one of these things. Put it on your backpack, put your car keys on it, etc. Show off to the whole world how rad Big Trouble in Little China is. And people would come up to you and be like, oh, where'd you get that? And you say, I got it from James Pax's website. And they'll say, what website is that? And you say, oh, well, go to $2 late fee's interview with James Pax, look at the show notes, and all the details are right there. Or something like that. Anyways, order some today and be a part of the cool group. And enjoy this interview with James Pax.
Congrats! You found $2 Late Fee, the best 80s movies podcast in the world.
We revisit our favorite 80s movies.
And sometimes 90s.
And soundtracks from our youth. And then we interview our favorite people who helped make them. All in the spirit of nostalgic positivity.
Thanks for listening.
I am celebrating Big Trouble in Little China, and I'm honored. I say that with immense gratitude. Honored to have James Pax on the show. James, welcome to $2 Late Fee.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you for inviting me to $2 late fee. Absolutely.
Did you ever have to pay a $2 late fee from a video store back in the day?
Oh, no, I don't think so. I did do a lot of renting of what you call the cassettes and things like that, back in the 80s and all of that. But no, I don't think I ever had to do that.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, but definitely, because, also I travel so much to Hong Kong, and back then Hong Kong, they get everything pirated. So you pretty much can get quite a bit of it, like $1 or $2, you can get a copy of the cassette,
Right.
And even in the last 10, 20 years, everything is pirated in China. You can get a DVD, right, of a perfect Blu-ray for like $1 or $2 these days. It's amazing.
Wow. I mean, that's a different kind of late fee, I think, if you end up getting a bootleg. Well,
Yes.
Speaking of traveling, before we kind of get into your career and whatnot, you are obviously, we're celebrating Big Trouble in Little China turns 40 this year, which is blowing my mind, by the way, the fact that it's 40 years old. I remember seeing it in the theater with my parents back in the day. But you are going to be traveling all over, kind of like on a Big Trouble in Little China tour, right?
Yeah, I'm actually going to be traveling starting in North America, which means in the USA.
Cool.
Anywhere, it's going to be from San Diego in March, April in Florida, and then Pennsylvania in April, and then Colorado in June, Iowa in June, and then into Oregon in May, and Meadow Lark in July. So it's
Wow.
going to be like a five state tour just up to July so far. So there's going to be a lot more coming in. Yes.
That's fantastic. And while you're talking, I'll have the visual on screen, and the dates will be in our show notes as well. And it won't just be you going on this tour. Who's going to be joining you?
Oh yeah. Since it's going to be the 40th anniversary tour, Donald Lee, aka Eddie,
Yeah.
who actually played the maitre d' in the restaurant, is coming along with me. You know, and it's going to be an exciting tour. With him together, I'm going to be in Florida and also in Colorado. So
Great.
there's two big events where he's going to be with me. And actually, we started the tour last year in Minneapolis and also in San Antonio. I think it's around August or something, for
Okay.
two events. And he was delighted to be there because the fact of the matter is he has never done a Comic-Con before.
Oh, wow. Really? Okay.
Yeah, can you imagine, right? I mean, actor that's has done over like 50 projects, from movies and voiceover and all of that. He's never done one. That's why I told Jenny, hey, you go ahead, and contact Donald and tell him that you will represent him and we'll bring him along. And
Yeah.
he said he can't wait and he's loving it. That's why he said, please, take me along your ride for next year. I said, yeah, we're ready to go. So he's totally excited. But just so you know, yeah, besides of the US tour, that's already lined up. I'm actually going to Europe as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and it's getting set up. Some of it will be helped by the European loyal fans, since I already have a big group there. And they will help me to source out the venues that we could possibly do it in, like a toy store, specialty gift shops, uh, comic book store, Funko Pop stores, or movie clubs, or Comic Cons, things like that. So, and we actually tell the fans, welcome them to contribute their ideas, and they can be part of the making of European tour. And at the end of next year, I'm actually going to be in Japan, in Okinawa base. Can
Oh,
you
wow.
imagine?
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to be visiting the American military base in Okinawa. So I would imagine 10, 20,000 of these American, you know, heartthrob soldiers, enthusiastic and patriotic soldiers stationed there. But I truly, I have to say, I wanted to go when the publicist, how should I say, the PR guy there contacted me and said, hey, we would like to invite you. There's a lot of your fans here. I said, oh, that's great. Yeah, I'd love to go because I have great respect for any of these veterans or the existing soldiers serving under America,
Yeah.
that they're devoting their life, their time, their families, trust in them to protect America, whether
Right.
the cause is right or wrong, which we shouldn't be discussing about it.
Right.
They devoting their life to this job, it's already a great thing to do. And that's why I wanted to support them. And one other thing I want to say about these, soldiers that have devoted themselves to the job as being a professional soldier is because I have personally written a script and created a new IP called Vortex.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I want to know about that.
Right. And it really talks about how America's Special Task Force will be teaming up with a group of Chinese spiritual warrior monks. They are not really Shaolin monks because Shaolin monks will be bald-headed, but they are just ordinary monks that they practice Tai Chi and all different styles of Chinese Kung Fu and dressed in beautiful gown. And they will be traveling on the Vortex landing in America in a slightly futuristic time frame. That they're going to teaming up with the American task force to help America, the American president, to solve a hostage crisis in Nigeria. So.
Oh wow! So you wrote this screenplay then, and you're producing it right now.
Yeah, I'm going to be producing it. I'm going to be directing it. I'm going to be playing a part of it.
Very cool.
Along with Hollywood celebrities. Hopefully, we will, get enough money. The studio will support me, or we'll do an independent project like Everything Everywhere All at Once, and get it produced and get some decent Hollywood stars and Asian superstars, action stars.
Well,
to all come together.
I mean, having you and as one of the leads in the film will be exciting for sure. I had James Liu on the show last year, last year, who obviously was in Big Trouble in Little China and has been behind the camera doing a lot of stunt work and whatnot. And and I thought, well, I want to see you guys on screen more. I think, oftentimes the audiences, the films come out, audiences change, the stars change, but you're never forgotten, and here is a movie 40 years old, and your role as Lightning in that film is so iconic and so memorable. And it's not just the only role you've had a very prolific career as a performer, and I want to get into that as well. But I love that you're doing this kind of world tour in celebration of a film that when it came out, it wasn't that big of a deal, right? Like it really gained popularity once it went on VHS. But did you really think that 40 years ago, if you flash back in the day, that you would be talking about this movie 40 years later?
Oh, definitely not. When I was hired to do the job, I only knew that it's going to be directed by John Carpenter. I barely even know who Kurt Russell is, because back then I was just a young college graduate, and although I do follow American movies, but I'm not too familiar with all the movie stars. And Kim Cattrall, she's the new star coming in.
Right.
This was her first big Hollywood movie.
Right.
Say. So we never expected anything, but I only expected that I would do my best job for my role, and that my role, has no any speech or any lines. And I was a little disappointed in the beginning when I got the offer by my agent in New York. Say, you got to take this role. It's John Carpenter, and this is going to bring you from New York to Los Angeles, and kickstart your feature movie career and maybe an action star because you already do so much kung fu, And John Carpenter will never go wrong. I said, okay, fine, I take your advice. And when I arrived in LA and done this movie, everything was history.
Remember the name Jack Burton.
Who? Jack Burton. Me.
Where's Jack?
Jack!
Everybody relax, I'm here.
How are you gonna spring us? I have no idea.
He's coming to rescue your summer.
Hey, what more can a guy ask for?
Big Trouble in Little China. Rated PG-13. Starts Wednesday, July 2nd at a theater near you.
From then on, I got so many offers. I pretty much have a very good, scoring rate of 85 to 90%. This means out of 10 auditions, I get 8.5 to 9 jobs.
Wow.
And that's how good I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because I am an action actor, who is fluent in kung fu, wushu, aikido, karate, and taekwondo, because I love them all. Wow. And on top of that, I was a dancer. Before that, I was already a dancer in New York. I was the first ever Asian American dancer, male dancer, to be dancing, in MTV and the TV shows and all of that. So I
do want to say really quickly, I want to interrupt you and say that my wife is a dancer. And the moment I told her that you were a dancer, she got very excited about that. She's like, oh, we talk a little bit about its dancing. And I'm like, of course I will.
Yeah. Yeah, really, I was inspired by Nureyev. Your wife will know who Nureyev.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of young people don't know who he is. He's like the equivalent of a Baryshnikov, but he came to the States earlier than Baryshnikov.
Okay.
But Nureyev was just, to me, he is the god of ballet back then, And, all dance comes out of ballet, whether it's the hip hop or whatever.
Yeah, that's like the fundamental.
Fundamental, yes. You got to have that ballet training to do the jazz and everything else afterwards. And that's why I went into ballet, and then I learned to do jazz, and that's why I was able to be casted in MTVs, in some of the TV series. And then because of my kung fu ability, I was able to be cast in action movies and also in dramatic movie, because I'm a very inspired actor. I truly believe in dramatic acting. A lot of people, they do well in acting, they do well in stunts and action, but I feel that I can be something different. If I'm going to be doing acting, I'm going to be very good at it. And if I'm doing action, I'm going to be very good at it. So the producers was very happy to hire me, because they know they don't need a stuntman. They can save the money on that because I do everything on my own.
Wow. And there was no sort of legal situation there back in the day where they said, oh, you can't do that for insurance purposes. So,
Well, they just say, you just have to sign a waiver. Okay, if you want to do this,
Wow.
You have to sign a waiver. I said, oh, sure, I'll sign a waiver. Means I'll be responsible for my own whatever accidents. I was on a TV, Big Trouble was easy because I was standing still, shooting out lightning, and that was all done with the arm action. I hardly could move because my head was twice bigger than my shoulder.
Yeah.
But after the lightning bolt was drawn in, it was all hand drawn in. It was not CGI.
So that was drawn in?
It was amazing. Yeah, hand drawn by an artist back then.
Oh, cool.
That's how amazing. That's why it looks so real
Yeah.
and so good. Nowadays, you see any of the CGI of a lightning in any of the Marvel movie, it does not look the same.
No, it's not the same. No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really,
the beauty.
I didn't know that. And obviously, yeah, but it's a different kind of acting, wouldn't you say, in portraying lightning, because you're not saying lines, but you're having to emote in a different way, right? Was that challenging?
Yes, very challenging because I don't have any lines to say. So whatever I do, it's my action speaks louder than word.
Right.
I want to prove that. That's why I designed it in such a way that the movement is not too complicated, but it has a timing to it so that it leaves the gap for the artist to draw in the lightning effect, and then I yell out the right roaring power phrases to really emphasize it. And when I first time saw it at the theater, in Hollywood,
Mm-hmm.
I was amazed. I said, "My God, that is lightning! That's me!" It's such a dynamic effect after they put in the lightning, and I said, "This is amazing!" And I said, "That's my effort, and everything I put in was all well worth it." Yeah.
How special that must have been. I'm just thinking back to you as a young person back in the day in 85 or 86, and seeing this film for the first time and probably overwhelmed with joy and pride for what you did. Did you have a lot of flexibility into what you could kind of bring to the role in the movie?
Yes. Well, audition was already a very complicated process, but John liked what I do. That's why he offered me the part. But when I got on the set, I was working with one of the best choreographer at the time, who did not John Wick, but Keanu Reeves' first.
Matrix?
Matrix, yeah. It's the same guy from Hong Kong.
Okay.
And when I got on the set, he came to me. He said, "James, you know what you're going to be doing, right?" "Yeah, I know. Don't worry. You don't need to tell me what to do. I'm an expert." So I said, "Okay, James, I trust you. I leave everything to you."
Wow.
Thank you. Because that's where I am. I'm very confident in what I do. Because if I take that job, I'm going to be doing I'm going to do it with extreme excellency. And that's the way I see my job.
Do you think that discipline comes from your dancing background?
Boy, it really comes from my early age of martial art training.
Okay.
I started training around 13 or 14 because I got beaten up in Hong Kong in school, for some kind of silly fights.
Right.
And I said, man, I gotta learn how to do Kung Fu to protect myself. At the same time, when Bruce Lee was already a superstar in Hong Kong, and I was just a little boy, I saw him on the screen. I said, that's what I wanted to do. And that's how I began.
Wow.
And then I learned karate and taekwondo when I landed in America. And everything else is history. I went to school, but honestly, I learned 80% of what I do, on my own. And I have sometimes Kung Fu Wushu. I have a teacher teach me like 3 or 5 lessons, and everything I just was able to learn it right off, because I'm I'm a hardworking person. I'm also believe in self-learning. And if you try hard enough, you will know how to do it right.
Yeah.
That's what I believe in. And that really carries on throughout my acting career, now my producing career, because I have company in the States and also in China. I've been doing event organizing for 35 years,
Yeah,
So-
it's pretty impressive your resume, because your assistant Jenny had sent me some kind of a bio on you a little bit, and I
Yeah.
got to dig a little bit deeper. And you were a fashion model for Giorgio Armani back in the day?
Yeah. I was the first ever Hollywood Asian actor
That's wild.
in the world to be working with Giorgio Armani, who recently just passed away.
Yeah.
A great loss to the fashion industry. I have true respect for him. He's a fabulous man. How it happened was I was in Milan with my Japanese girlfriend. She was already involved in the industry as one of the Japanese PR lady for, I cannot remember the brand right now. Later I'll remember.
Okay.
And so I was accompanying her, and then all of a sudden somebody recognized me. They said, "Hey, you are the guy in Lightning, Big Trouble in Little China." Yeah.
That's
What? You
hilarious.
saw Big Trouble in Little China? I say, "Of course, it's a big hit here in Italy and all over Europe." I said, "Oh, well, I didn't know that." And he said, "Well, you know what? How long are you going to be here?" I said, "Well, I'm going to be here for another week." He said, "Oh, you should meet Giorgio Armani. He's a friend of mine. I have a friend who works under him, and, I can get you connected. Maybe you
Wow.
want to do his show." I said, "Giorgio Armani? Of course I love Giorgio Armani. I knew about Giorgio Armani because of American Gigolo,
Yeah,
He
totally.
designed that's how George became famous." So I said, "Of course I know Giorgio. Yeah, say hi to Giorgio and tell him I'll do it if he invite me." Sure enough, of course, I just hand off my publicity book. I used to carry everything in the book, and immediately they call me back and say, "They want you to be there. You need to be there so and so time for the tryout." So one interesting thing about this was,
Yeah.
I had a small feet back then. I think I was only wearing like a 42 or something, shoes.
Okay.
And I was only about 5'11", 6 feet, but all the boys, all the other professional models, they were all 6'2".
Yeah.
And their feet is like 46, 50 or whatever.
Yeah.
And so after I was putting on all the costumes and Georgia was sitting there, fixing my costumes, they always want to taper this and taper that in. And he said, "Oh, so what size of shoes you wear?" I said, 42. He said, "Oh, but I don't see any of that shoes I can wear because they all look too big for me."
Oh, no.
Yeah. I said, "Man, those shoes are not going to fit me." He said, "Oh, don't worry. I wear 42. And strangely enough, he took off his white suede shoes.
Whoa.
He said, "James, try this." I said, "Oh, okay." So I tried it and it fits perfect. He said, "James, you wear it for tomorrow." Okay, that's your shoes.
What?
So on the day of the show, my picture and his picture was on all the headlines in the Milan paper. and it raises a big thing about the fact that I'm wearing Giorgio Armani shoes. And then after the show, just so to tell you about the show, these days you watch the fashion show, they have like over 80 or 100 models because they have each model wearing only one outfit.
Right.
Yeah, one for each outfit.
Right.
And you just keep seeing different people coming out. But back then, in the 90s, early 90s, one model has to wear 5 outfits.
Wow.
So it means they have a whole rack of the outfits all lined up. And after I go on wearing the suit, boom, I run back in, got naked to the altar, putting me on the second suit, and everything is already lined up.
Oh my God.
So it's a very busy job, but I enjoyed it because it's a no-brainer.
I mean, it sounds very stressful though.
It's a little stressful, but I enjoy that.
Did you wear Giorgio's shoes for every single outfit? Because
yes, because that was the only shoes that could fit me.
Wow.
And it was like, and my face was throughout the world on all the Giorgio Armani store.
Yeah.
On the screen, and all the publicity reels and all of that. So they were very proud of it. And I several months after I went to Hong Kong, Ben and everybody all recognized me. Of course, they know that I'm already doing a movie with Michelle Yeoh and all of that, because this was after Michelle Yeoh's movie called the Heroic Trio.
Right.
And now they recognize me more because I'm the Giorgio Armani boy. I'm the first, Chinese American to be on Giorgio Armani show. They said, my God, and all my actors friend came up, invite me for lunch. They said, how did you get to be invited by Giorgio Armani? Can you tell us, or maybe you can help us to get on it?
Right.
So I had to tell them the story. I said, it was easy.
That's amazing. No, it doesn't. I mean, I'm a firm believer in there's no such thing as coincidences, right? I feel like everything happens for a reason. You're placed in the right place at the right time. But how amazing is that? You got this girlfriend, Japanese girlfriend, student. You just, wow, that is phenomenal. Do you still have like the photos from those, from that time?
No, I used to keep these photos, but through the years I moved so much, I can't even find my portfolio anymore, but I still have the outfits. Yes.
You do. What happened to the shoes?
Well, of course, Giorgio had to take it back.
Oh.
Yes, otherwise it would be a collector's item
right.
Now. Yes, I should have said, hey, Giorgio, let me keep the shoes off. Giorgio,
Yeah, I'll take the shoes instead of getting paid. Wow, that is fantastic. Well, this somewhat connects because I want to bring up this show. I love the show The Nasty Boys.
Friday.
We're with the Nasty Boys on the mean streets of North Las Vegas as they prepare to make another house call.
The nastiness has just begun. Nasty Boys the movie is now Nasty Boys the series. There'll be a new man in charge.
My name is Krieger.
With his own way of doing business.
Class starts now, boys.
Plus more crime to stop.
Everybody here is mine.
I want the names of the Nasty Boys.
Based on real-life cops, Friday's just got a whole lot nastier.
This ain't legal!
Nasty Boys, the series, premieres Friday.
Oh,
I absolutely love that show. So I'm a big fan of obviously like Miami Vice back in the day, but there were shows that were inspired somewhat by Miami Vice.
Really? Yes.
And I think Nasty Boys was very much inspired. Can you talk a little bit about your role on the Nasty Boys? That was a really cool show.
It is true. It was produced by Dick Wolf, famous Hollywood producer, and starring Dennis Franz, who passed away already. But back then he was a very big character actor.
Right.
And also Benjamin Bratt, who later become the LA Law, all the shows and all of that. But when I was casted in it, I just finished Michelle Yeoh's movie, and coming back to Hollywood, and the studio suddenly I got a call from my agent said the studio wanted to see you. I said, who wanted to see me? NBC. NBC. Oh, okay, yeah, I remember I did shows for NBC. Da 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 da. So what kind of show are they gonna calling me for? They say, oh, there's a show called The Nasty Boys. Oh, Nasty Boys by Janet Jackson.
Yeah.
You know the song.
Yeah.
They say, well, yeah, something related to that. But you go in and you're going to meet the executive and maybe the producer, and they just want to talk to you. I say, okay, fine. And they say, well, they just only have like a 1 or 2 page. Just make sure you prepare it. Maybe they're going to reach you. So I, of course, decked out, I thought Nasty Boy must be something hip, right? So I got to wear hip. So I was wearing like hip short sleeve, tight. And I was totally shaped. I was shaped like Bruce Lee, with they call it the tiger shoulder and the dragon waist. That's what I used to look like.
I try to have that at 49.
Yeah,
it's hard.
It's hard these days, even for me. But back then, I really had that physique. And I actually looked like him.
Yeah.
So I went in, and they were just asking me a few questions. Well, I had to tell them that I just did Michelle Yeoh's movie and so on and so forth, Big Trouble in Little China. Yeah, we know about you. We know about you. And yeah, I think you're very right for it. You've got a great look, and you already venture into the Asian market. And our show is going to be sold in America and throughout the world, and Asia and Europe. And you might be able to help us sell it. I said, oh, definitely. You put me in it, the whole Asian market will be sold out, and maybe America too.
Yeah.
Because Big Trouble in Little China was already big in Europe because I just did Armani show. And they loved it, because my character, I'm always very bubbly, in with these auditions. Although I'm like Michael Jackson when I was a kid, I'm very timid. When I first came from Hong Kong as a teenager, I do not, first of all, my English was okay. My dad is English, but my English was not perfect.
Okay.
And I had to get accustomed to, the new environment in Jersey. I went to a high school in Jersey.
In Jersey?
I was a very timid boy, and I don't talk much. I just observe. I'm a very good observer since I was a kid. But then through the years, after I decided to become an actor, I really opened myself up because I know what the techniques are, and it just becomes part of my behavior.
Right.
And so that when I say I want to turn myself on, I would turn myself on. And when I'm off the camera, I turn myself off and I become quiet again. That's just the way I am. So they really love my bubbly character. And they say, yeah, I said, do you want me to read? Yeah, you just read it, a couple of lines, and that's good enough. So after I read like the first page, I say, okay, that's good enough. That's good enough. We'll contact your agent. The next thing you know, they came in with a nice offer.
Oh.
And after negotiation, I got on the job. The part was so perfect for me. You know why? They said, you do Kung Fu, Bruce Lee's power action is what we want. And you look great, Don Johnson's double. You're going to dress like Don Johnson and with a big ass, attitude of Bruce Lee. And you do that. I said, hey, I'm ready.
Come on. That's like every little kid's dream back in the day.
I know. And on top of that, on that show, we keep what we seize, means out of, chasing after these drug lords and drug dealers, we keep whatever, we seize. And so there's Lamborghini cars and this car and that car. But I got to ride on a ninja bike.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, in my cool Don Johnson's outfit, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, because that's the whole idea of the Nasty Boys, and also you are your character Jimmy Key. That's your character's name in the show.
Yes,
it only I feel like it's there's these shows come out and then you can't find them anywhere. I wish there was a way to track these episodes down.
Yeah. I can't even find the DVD myself. And I'm telling you, that series, although only had 13 episodes,
right,
it's such a classy
it really is.
series. It should be revamped today.
Well, you should play the police chief.
Just something like that. Yeah, it should be. You know why? Because they call it the Rainbow Coalition casting. black, white, Latino, and me,
Right.
and everybody looked so good, and everybody looked kind of cool, and the story was very well put together,
Yeah.
and it could have lasted for like 2 or 3 seasons. It didn't, because you know why? Because Big Wolf was always delayed on delivering
Oh,
the
no.
final product on time. Means some of the Friday night show didn't hit on time.
Oh,
It was
no.
Yeah, it was like a week late. I guess because back then it was like $1 million budget. Our show was $1 million budget per show, and usually it takes only 7 days to shoot, but he extended it to 10 days. I guess he wanted to make it good, but that really hindered on the scheduling.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the reason that NBC kind of canceled it afterwards. So,
Oh, that's interesting. I've never, oftentimes you hear about a show, like maybe the showrunner gets fired and then something happens, or the studio or the network is not a big fan of it. But that show had everything going for it. Like you said,
Yeah.
for its time, really diverse and also kind of groundbreaking. And I'll think, people can go back, and if I can find some links, I'll put them in the show notes for people to watch it. But that's a shame that it was, well, blame Dick Wolf.
But it was so good.
It was so good. Yeah, no, and I'm so
Yeah.
glad, and thank you for sharing your audition, because it's so wonderful to think about. I picture you going in looking like dressed to the nines, as people say, looking
right, dressed to
cool
the
and
nines.
feeling good about it. That's such a neat thing. Yeah, because you've had so many, like you said, you did the heroic trio with Michelle Yeoh
Michelle,
prior to that. And so you're working overseas on a project like that, and then coming to the United States to work on an episodic television series. There must have been a big shift for you. Was there an adjustment from going from like a big budget studio film like Heroic Trio to episodic television?
Uh, well, they are cons and pros.
Okay.
The way to tell you about the cons and pros is Hollywood, whether they're making a movie or making a TV series, the standard in terms of the working environment standard is always higher
Yes.
than in Asia, because the budget is a lot bigger. Although Heroic Trio is already a big budget movie, 5 million USD, which is already a biggest budget in Asia at the time during the 90s. But when you're working in Hollywood, they have a trailer, and Dennis Franz is some personal trailer, and then the young guys had little trailer, little room, a little coat racket, a little bathroom, but we still have our own trailer.
Yeah.
But when you go to Hong Kong, it don't matter if you are the star or you are a little banana playing a big part. Everybody have a little lunchbox this small. Hollywood, they have a big, a truck, food truck, and coffee, wine, roast beef, whatever you
Roast
want.
beef.
every meal is different. Every meal has beef, and I'm a beef man, so every meal I really stuff myself.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is the advantage of working in Hollywood.
Right.
Okay. You are treated like a king, and nice big, actor's chair, with your name in the back to make you feel good. But in Asia, no, you don't. You got to bring your own chair, or you're going to be sitting on the floor. You know what I'm saying? And everybody only gets a little lunchbox, whether you're a #1 star or you're a number 10 star. So, and we're sitting on the floor. If you don't bring your own chair, you sit on the floor and have your lunchbox. So that is the difference.
Yeah, that sounds like a major difference. Was that the experience filming Heroic Trio?
Yes, that's pretty much so. It only look good on the screen, but the working condition is very different than Hollywood.
Right.
But nobody cared, because that's just Asian standard. That's just it. And you don't get royalty in Asia either. They can pay you 50,000, 100,000, or whatever, and you got a one-time deal. In Hollywood, everything is on royalty. I'm still getting 100 or 200 a month for Big Trouble in Little China and Nasty Boys, when they get reruns, which is great.
That is great.
Yeah.
I want to see Nasty Boys get put out on DVD so you can get even more royalties.
I know.
Maybe in Hong
definitely.
Kong they'll sell it for $1 and you can get, like you said.
Yeah, I wish they put it out there. I wish they do.
I want to ask you though, because we have some questions from fans, and one is in regards to Big Trouble in Little China. Before I, move away from that, Ronnie Raimundo wanted to know if your character Lightning, do you think that he died when the statue hits him in the head in Big Trouble in Little China?
Definitely not. I think they left it like that because probably John decided that there might be a sequel coming up, so we can bring back Lightning. You know, I think that is probably the best answer. Uh, on top of that, I'm telling you, Big Trouble is such a big cult movie now, and I should say it's probably the most popular one,
I agree.
directed by John Carpenter. John had directed many movies. They're all great, but really, I think Big Trouble really garnered the number one in terms of fan publicity, fandom, and Cobra Kai, Cobra Kai, a continuation of Karate Kid,
Right.
2 or 3. Now, why wouldn't they think about making Big Trouble in Little China into a TV series?
agree.
Whether now it's Disney. Disney, you should take it and make it into a TV series. My God.
They have, how people joke and say, Disney owns like the Alien franchise, right? So now Ripley, Sigourney Weaver, she's basically considered a queen, a Disney queen, right?
Yeah,
well, I would say that the Three Storms would be considered Disney princes now. So you could have,
go.
the Lightning walking around Disneyland, greeting people.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
You're very right about that. What a great idea. They can do some kind of, the setting that they go through the dome, like in the movie, the truck driving in, that kind of thing, and have them go through that experience with all the stuntmen, and the lightning shooting on the lightning and doing the flips in the air. My God, that would be a great show, wouldn't it?
I think it's writing itself, and then you can get some residuals for that. So
for sure.
We have another question.
Before we go on to another question,
yes,
I already have a great idea. I believe that Disney should ask me to be the showrunner. I will write it and I will direct it. The TV version of Big Trouble in Little China. The underground of Chinatown in San Francisco, and that it could be like futuristic or going back thousands of years ago, in China or whatsoever, and mix it up.
Oh, yeah.
I think that would be totally interesting with the Three Storm. Now they could be the nemesis or they could be the lifesaver, that kind of thing.
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up because I think, in many respects, and I totally agree with you, by the way, I think it is John Carpenter's most fan favorite film and also fan friendly film. It's probably his most accessible for a wide audience. I remember showing my son when he was like 5 or 6 and he loved it. And I was saying, I've told people it's like it was like the 80s version of Guardians of the Galaxy in many ways. You have this buffoon in this white guy who's basically being assisted by all the other people in his life. But you think of this idea of Wang Chi, his father is very much familiar with the storms and Lo Pan, and why not it be about the father and his journey? And then maybe, Wang is just a child at the time, and you could jump forward with, Eddie and Wang, their adventure, et cetera, et cetera. I think you're onto something. I think it's all there.
It's definitely all there. The elements are there. It just had to be written out. That's all. They just have to come and say, James, you go ahead and run it, okay? Bring us a synopsis in a week. Oh, I'll have it ready in 3 days. You kidding me?
You heard it, Hollywood. Come on, let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. It's going to be bigger than Cobra Kai, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, because it's one thing you've talked about the elements of action that obviously you're an action hero or an action star, an action actor, but supernatural action, I think, is where it's so popular right now.
Another level up.
Yeah.
You have the kung fu action fans, you have the supernatural fans, because they are the sorcerers.
Right.
What could go wrong with that combo?
Nothing could go wrong with that. And then you
Yeah.
can add some Armani shoes in there too. So
There you go. There you go. That's a good one.
yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. I have a question from a friend of the show, Chris Kavinsky, and he wanted to know about Kinjite, the forbidden subject.
Enter a forbidden world.
Where do you learn these wicked things?
A world we never see.
If she wasn't enjoying it, why didn't she cry for help?
You get pleasure from hurting kids. I'm gonna put you out of business.
We're all beset with demons.
And every obsession explodes into violence.
We have to work outside the system.
Charles Bronson.
That's justice.
Kinjite, Forbidden Subjects, rated R.
Starts Friday at a theater near you.
Right.
And he wanted to know if you still remember the words to the party song from Kinjite. Does that ring any bells for you?
Boy, it's such a long time ago, and I haven't had a chance to rewatch that movie for what, 30 some years.
Right, right.
I have very little memory of when it's long-term memory. I lost quite a bit of it. No, I cannot remember what song I sang or what song it was in that movie.
It's okay. Do you have any recollections from working on that film, though?
The greatest recollection of that film is the fact that my character is a weird Japanese father, weird Japanese businessman who has
Right.
wife and kids, and yet his character is a little weird. He's trying to molest some Japanese girl in a subway. I got to tell you, for a role like that, I don't mind playing a nemesis,
Right.
a murderer, but when it comes to a role like this, I said, James, do you want to do a role like this? And have people think that you're a child molester.
Right.
And I said, hey, it's a movie. It's supposed to be entertainment. You are an actor. You are not a writer. You can't tell the writer to rewrite it. Why don't you just do it and make it a character work and be part of your portfolio when you get older? I said, fine, I'll just go ahead and do it. It's a job.
Yeah, it shows your range, right?
Yeah. On top of that, Charles was one of my hero. I watched so many of his early movies, the Western movies. He has such a great image,
Oh, yeah.
a great physique, and the way he speaks, It's just so amazing. And to work with him, definitely, he was a legend to begin with. But he was, again, very timid kind of a guy. He doesn't speak much, but he's always very polite, very soft-spoken, just like the way he is in the movie. And that was already a great experience, by the way. And to be on the screen with him, and on top of that, my name is right, after him. It's already a great honor, I got to tell you, because he's a legend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes me, I think oftentimes people wonder, oh, did you like that role or did you, I know it's something different than what you play, but then like the way you just described it, you're working with somebody who's legendary on screen, and getting to see your name connected to that is a really big gift. So, wow. And by the way, that film, I would say 20, 30 years later is actually maybe more enjoyable now because it's of its time, and nostalgia. I have a thing I say on the show. I say nostalgia is one hell of a drug, because sometimes your recollections of something, you watch it again, you go, nah, it's not as good as I remember it being. But sometimes, and oftentimes more so, you watch it now as an adult versus maybe watching it when you're in your 20s or teens, and you have a greater appreciation. So I think people can go back and watch a movie like Kinjite. And again, like I said, Nasty Boys. I did want to ask you about a film you did with Donald Sutherland called Buthune in 1988. Can you talk a little bit about that film?
Oh, a long time ago.
Yeah, right?
88. I was just, 25 or 26. It's amazing.
I was going to say you're a lot younger than that, because...
it was just amazing. That film came because I went to some kind of Hollywood party And a lady came up to me and said, James, is that you just did a movie with John Long in the Year of the Dragon? And I think you just did Big Trouble in Little China. That's you, right? I said, yeah, I am. He said, yeah, I love Big Trouble in Little China. And I love the part that you play killing Mickey Rourke's wife in the bathroom. So thank you.
Year of the Dragon, yeah.
Yeah, Year of the Dragon, very small part, but that's my
memorable
cameo to begin with, yes. He said, well, you know what? My brother in Canada is going to be producing a movie called Bethune. I said, oh, Bethune, what is it about? Bethune is a historical character who is Canadian, went to China in 1940, brought a lot of medical supplies to help Mao Zedong to fight against the Kuomintang and save thousands of Chinese soldiers. He's respected by all the Chinese people because he saved the Chinese soldiers. I said, oh, wow, that's interesting. And what kind of part you think I can play? He said, oh, there's the part of Tong, who is a Cambridge graduate, the translator of Mao Zedong when he's receiving the international guests. I said, whoa, that sounds like an interesting part. You know, my dad is English, and I could speak with a British accent. Why not? Without audition, I just said, well, here's my reel. I gave them a cassette, I think. Next day I delivered it to her house. She lives in Beverly Hills, a very well-to-do lady. And she treated me with tea very nicely. And she said, I love Chinese culture. I think you'll be great for it. I would suggest you to my brothers. So a couple of weeks later, they offered me the part without any audition. I said, perfect. See, these people got taste. Got taste.
What is it?
飞机. It's an aircraft, Doctor.
Japanese?
谁的飞机啊？国民党的. It's nationalists. They're looking for Japanese. Although sometimes they appear to be surveying us. You were lucky to have salvaged anything from the train, Doctor.
After we reach shore, how much further will it be, Mr. Tucker?
About 1,500 miles.
You've been in this line of work a long time.
I'm not an interpreter by profession, Doctor. I'm an economist. I've only been asked to accompany you to the 8th Army headquarters in Yan'an, where I will receive another assignment. It will be a relief to get out of this nationalist uniform.
You know what? I hate to audition. You know, after I did the Big Trouble, and especially the Big Trouble, after the Big Trouble and also the Nasty Boys, when I came back, every time I came back from Asia, they always asked me to audition. I said, what the hell? What be like all these stars, you know, they're already the stars, and why does these Caucasian actors don't have to audition and get the part? Why do James Pax has to audition? That's something I could not live with, I tell you, back then. But anyway, they offered me the part. I even got a call from them, you know, and they suddenly one day they call me and they say, they speak to me in Mandarin. Are you Bai Shiqian, so and so and so and so? I say, 是的，我就是, I am. So what is it? Who is it? He said, we are calling from Beijing, 8th Army movie studio. I am the executive producer, and we would like to talk to you and find out more about you. You see, they need to interview me because back then in the 80s, China is still very close.
Right.
They want to make sure I'm politically correct.
Interesting.
So that's why they interview me on the telephone.
Yeah, interview. Some might call it interrogation.
Yeah. But anyway, they finally decided, yeah, I'm okay to do the part. But there's a lot more when I arrived first, right? I have long hair. You know, I was told that James does not look like a Chinese 8th Army soldier, even though the part was graduated from Cambridge University.
Right.
He does not look like him at all. So the Canadian producer said, well, you know, do you have another choice? And they shut up. You know why? They don't have anybody in China that can speak English like the way I do and Mandarin at the same time.
Right.
Said, well, so the producer said, well, if you can find me another person that can do what James does, language-wise, then I will consider casting him. But if you can't, I think you should give James a chance. He can cut his hair and do something. So they twiddle their thumb, and then they say, okay, fine. We're going to send James to the camp, means to the 8th Army camp, just like all the other soldiers, to get some, on-camp experience.
Oh.
And we're going to dress him up in costumes and cut his hair and do a audition.
Oh, gosh.
Finally, the audition.
This sounds kind of scary.
Yeah, so I'm already there. So what can I say? I said, I want the part, so I better go for it. So I was sent to the camp. Oh, my God. Can you imagine?
No.
I was sleeping in bunk bed, and then I had to brush my teeth on a public outdoor water fountain.
Oh, my gosh.
There was no indoor water fountain. Everything's outdoor. It's long. It's got like 20 water fountains on both sides. And all the soldiers and the actors are brushing their teeth right there, boys and girls all together. That's called the commune life of 8th Army, okay? And then we go into the commune canteen to get breakfast. Everything is tin bowls, tin spoons,
oh my gosh,
wooden chopsticks, but there were quite a few beautiful Chinese actresses who was brushing their teeth next to me. So I'm very popular with them.
Yeah, you're bonding with them.
Yeah, I'm bonding with them. Yes. And quite a few of them, went along the trip and became my friends.
Okay.
So I had a good time with the ladies and experiencing the 8th Army military life. And then about 10 days later, finally they put me on the 8th Army outfit.
Wait, for 10 days? For 10 days?
Yeah, I was in the camp for 10 days. So they cut my hair.
Oh my God.
And they finally gave me an audition. And I guess I did very well. And they said, all right, fine. He just need to adjust his Mandarin to speak more like us. I said, yeah, I can do that.
Sure.
I'm a chameleon. I can change my accents if I'm just in the environment. I'm a multilingual person. So I did the part. It was a hell of a job. There was no such a thing as trailer, no such a thing as
like Heroic Trio.
Yeah, and no such a thing as a food truck.
You didn't have a chair with your name on it.
No chair at all. They don't even give you a lunchbox. Everything is communal in a big table, and everybody eat whatever the food is.
Oh my God!
It's all in a big container, and everybody's digging out a container.
Oh my gosh!
And they have to. There's not even eggs, so they have to go in the farm, because we go through a long journey before we get to where Mao Zedong is camped out.
Okay.
So along the journey, we're shooting in all these very rural areas, like in mountain regions. So they ran out of the eggs, and they went into the local residents to buy eggs from them, and buy some chicken from them. So it was like a rarity, just have eggs in your bowl. And then every 2 weeks they're flown in the beef just for me and Donald, But I tell you, 2 months shooting in China, I lost 20 pounds.
I was going to say.
Skinny as hell. Yeah. Because I had diarrhea almost every week.
My God. This sounds like you were in basic training. I mean, were you ever nervous that you might get stuck there and not be able to come back to this? I mean, that's where my mind goes. My mind goes like, oh, no. You're going to stay here with us now.
No, it never occurred to me because they know I'm an American. I don't think they want to keep me there.
Yeah, no, I just go to a dark place of you're already experiencing something that, talk about method, going into method acting with this experience.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fascinating. Oh my
and
gosh.
It became, when it was all edited together, it became such a art film. It wasn't. It cost them $8 million USD, which was already a lot of money.
Right.
Most of the cash came out of the Canadian government.
Okay.
Because it's government funding. It's a historical subject.
Yeah.
And the Chinese provide a lot of local services, drugs, food, So it was considered one of the biggest movies out of China back then. And the director, Boris, cannot remember his last name, he passed away as soon as the film went on to a competition in Europe.
Oh, wow.
Apparently he was very young, but apparently he had some cancer problem or something like that. So the movie was well acclaimed, but it did not do well in theater because it really came out before its time.
Yeah.
I think if the movie come out today, it would have done a lot better, that kind of thing.
It seems to me like there's greater accessibility now to see films like that because of all the different services that we have. And also there's a greater appreciation, it seems, especially with like the Academy Awards, appreciating films that dig a little bit deeper on a subject. So I hope that it gets rediscovered. I'm going to put the trailer into this episode so people can check it out. And obviously links to several of your works will be in the show notes too. I got to tell you, James, we could talk for another hour at least.
We could.
There's so much more to cover. And I'm hoping, again, with all of the tour dates that you have coming up, and I'll put that back on the screen so everyone can see. And if you're listening to this, you can check the notes for all the dates that James is going to be doing for Big Trouble in Little China's 40th anniversary. I'm hoping that you and I get to see each other in person when you come out to LA, and maybe we can do a sit-down interview at our studio here in Santa Monica. That would be wonderful. James, I know I said it at the onset, and I'll say it again. It was an honor to have you on the show. Very excited to meet you in person on your tour of the U.S. and all over the world. And thank you again so much for being a part of this special interview.
No, thank you for having me. And I am looking forward to meeting you in LA.
We're going to make it happen. Santa Monica, Los Angeles, coming at you.
There you go.
Thank you, James.
Cool. All right. See you in LA.
All right. For sure. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Oh, listen, I just wanted to say goodbye and remind you that the good guys always win, even in the 80s.